Welcome to Urban Fantasy PH. We are creatives who live in an urban society and give readers wish fulfillment by way of our stories, which is fantasy but reflective of reality. Here, we get to talk to fellow creatives like writers, authors, artists, comic book creators, filmmakers, you name it. We create and share our art here in the Philippines as well as abroad. My name is CJ Edmunds, I'm your host, and here is today's episode.
All right, good morning, fellow bookworms, book hoarders, book lovers, and fellow creatives. Happy Wednesday, and good morning to you all. Hope you had your coffee yet. Nope? Well, hopefully this is going to be our own dose of coffee for you this morning. Now, this is episode 33 of the podcast, and like always, and during an ongoing season, our show is aired every Wednesday, both for Spotify as well as on my YouTube channel. Now, you have the option to listen or to watch us. The choice is in your hands. We leave that to you. But while you're doing that, do click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you do not miss a single episode, and you will be thus notified when a new one comes along, like what we are doing today. Like always, all of our past episodes are all ready for you to return to or listen to chronologically if in case you are listening to us or watching us for the first time. Now, the universe, I have always believed, works in mysterious and rewarding ways. Now, I met our guest for today most recently during the Christmas gathering of creatives and publishers called the Book Lovers Christmas, and this was spearheaded by the Indie Publishers Collab PH and was held at the Good Intentions bookstore. Now, born and raised in Baguio, John Ray is a comic book artist lurking in Taguig. I like that he used the word lurking. We'll ask him about that. Jumping ship from advertising, he now lovingly crafts stories about the Filipinos' place in the past as well as in the future. Along with writer Rexy Dorado, he is also slowly building up this alternate history and sci-fi comic series that's called Maharlika. Now, in addition to being a creative, he is also the co-founder of Manila Middle Ground. This is a creative retail and event space in Makati. Now, outside of work, he enjoys a lot of things, bagnet, and of course coffee, which I hope that's what he's having now, and being in the service of his cats, Musashi and Maru. I love the name. So let's all welcome John Ray to the show today. Hello! Yay!
Hello guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Afternoon na
Yes.
pala.
Kunwari morning pero ano, pero gabi. No, just kidding. So, good morning, John Ray, and welcome to Urban Fantasy PH. Just letting you know that you are closing our 2023 season of the podcast. And you know what? There's really no pressure to just sit back and enjoy yourself for today because that's what the holidays are for. And we always feel the holiday pressure. The best way to deal with that is to simply accept, cave in, and say, I cannot take it anymore. Christmas is too much. But
Yes.
well, yeah, but good thing we got you here today so you can sort of detox and tell us all about your holiday hangups as well as your creative progress. Now, for me, let's begin. Creativity doesn't really begin with writing and crafting or drawing and and try to translate what we see or hear in our minds on a blank page. For me, it starts with what piques your curiosity, what fascinates you, what holds our attention, and to sort of like turn back the clock a bit, as how I'd usually like to begin. Would your first memories of creativity lean more towards, I mean, as a child, lean more towards of what you saw or also of what you read as a child? And as a child, it can be a toss up between picture books or animated shows on a Saturday morning.
For me, I recall always being in front of the TV. My eyes were stuck to Cartoon Network,
Mhm.
Nickelodeon,
There you are.
and and Saturday morning cartoons or afternoon cartoons on GMA or ABS or RPN. Yun yung kinalakihan ko. Other than
Mhm.
that, I was a visual kid, so I distinctly recall enjoying reading comics during our dentist visits. Funny
Oh,
comics, specifically. Yun, that was my introduction to comics talaga, funny comics.
cool.
Combatron,
Yeah.
uh, once I forgot the names, pero funny comics talaga. Yun, yeah.
Honeycombs. And of course, you'll I'm sure part of your introduction was also a little bit of the DC and Marvel comics as well. Interesting that you should.
Uh, mm-mm.
Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I wasn't into Marvel or DC growing up because in Baguio there was only one shop, comic shop there, and I really wasn't interested in DC Comics or Marvel Comics. I was in cartoons pa lang, cartoons and manga. Yun.
Okay, cartoons and manga. So it looks like I wore the wrong cap today and the wrong shirt. I'm sorry.
That's okay, man. I got into that late na.
Later. Interesting that I was gonna say. Interesting that you should bring up the dentist because that was what my mom would give me actually whenever we go visit the dentist back in the day. That was my reward. She would buy me issues of comics hanging from the store across the dentist, and it would range from local comics and Marvel and DC. Some of them are imported, some of them are local reprint, but for me that was my introduction into comics. So I guess dentists and comics really go hand in hand when you think about it.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. Sana nga may book, may library yung dentist eh. Alam mo yun?
Yeah,
Habang naghihintay ka,
yeah.
a lot of things to read.
So
Diba?
true. So calling all dentists, if you want to have kids, if you have kids who are your patients and you want them to be distracted and happy, then yes, please include comics, picture books, and and appropriate books for their age as well,
Yeah.
in your respective books. But I was wondering, with those comics that you read there in Baguio, would there be, let's say, I don't know, one particular character that stands out for you, or maybe a particular show that you would always reference when you need to recharge as a creative? It's like, oh, I can't do this anymore. But when you go back to feeling and relating yourself or your 10-year-old self to how you felt when you saw those characters on TV, it made you just jump up for joy and forget everything else, and as your way of, let's say, paying it forward to whoever gets to see your work, that charges you up automatically. Do you ever do that?
Mhm. Sometimes, yeah. One of my happiest memories I remember was the first episode of Power Rangers, the original one, the American Power Rangers, when they aired
Okay.
in on ABS, I think, and that was on a Friday night, and I distinctly remember
Almost Friday.
dancing when the intro was playing. I was punching the air, I was dancing to the song. It was my first. I was so excited to watch it, and it made me really happy. And it's something that I want people or maybe young readers someday to feel when they read my comics or my work, that they're excited to start something new. Yeah.
Right. I know the feeling. Yeah, go Power Rangers. Which one's your favorite?
Which ranger?
Yeah, which Ranger is your favorite?
I think actually the Blue Ranger was my favorite.
Ah, 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 ah.
Triceratops. I
Okay.
think his name is
Yep.
Billy. Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think
just like
so.
the color blue. Mm-mm.
I'm more of a green person, so
Green
I go,
Ranger.
that's why it's
Uh,
hindi halata.
yeah, okay, I see. Right, very green, yeah.
It's all green for me. But sometimes growing up, we would always say to ourselves that when I grow up, I'm gonna take this course so that I can be like this. I'm gonna go into medicine because I want to go into a doctor. Oh, I love drawing, so I know I'm gonna be an architect someday or when I grow up. Sometimes where we end up doesn't have anything to do with what we took up. So my question is, what did you take up in college, and what is it in that course helped you on your way to becoming a creative?
Hmm. So, going into college, I was dead set on a course that will teach me how to draw.
Okay.
And so in Baguio, I mean, the options were either UP Baguio,
Mm-hmm.
ex St. Louis University, and and that would be it. Kasi um, there was a fine arts course in UP Baguio, but it was more of a certificate course, as I recall, as I remember. Either that
Okay.
or at St. Louis University, it was architecture. That was the closest thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then my cousin was already taking up nursing in UST, University of Santo Tomas. She she um she suggested that I try out advertising arts or the fine arts
Okay.
program at UST. So those were my options. And then fortunately enough, I passed in UST, and yeah, that was a course that I took. And taking that course, I learned more than drawing, which was very thankful. I learned about this crazy world of advertising, and basically, I found out. Actually, I remember first year, first semester, I found out that I was really excited. I was a little bit too overconfident with my skills,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I remember I passed plate, I was so excited kasi my first drawing plate, no, mataas grade nito. Only to find out, nako, it wasn't. Okay, real life, no, you're not good enough. And actually, I realized, okay, I'm not good enough. So I have something to prove to myself now. So
Yeah.
yun,
What can you do to make
that
yourself
was
better? Right.
yeah. So okay, I have lots of things to learn. I suck at anatomy. I suck at coloring. Okay, let's do this. Yun, that was my first foray into creative, ano talaga, my creative course.
Great,
Yan.
of course. Well, it's good that as I said, your course had does have something to do with your creativity, and that was like a defining, in a way, parts of your defining moments for yourself, wherein you found out that there is so much more that you can learn. Because if it could go, the other way for some other people, they feel that, oh, I have nothing to prove because I know how to, I know that the shortest distance from one point to another is a straight line, so I can at least draw a straight line, so I'm good. I don't need to learn anything. But it's nice that that you felt that it was a way for you to broaden your mind and to admit to yourself, at the very least, that there is more that you need to learn. How about members of your family? Are any of them into the arts or the creative people like you or like us?
Actually, not much. My family,
Okay.
there there's no single career that defines most of our family. We're a mixed bunch of individuals. Some of them works for the government. Some of them works for corporate. Some of them in the medical field. So nothing really distinct to say. Pero yun
Okay.
nga, not a lot of us are creative. So they were really surprised when I wanted to pursue this career of creativity that none of them had no idea of. So they just had faith that that I could do it, and they supported me
Mhm.
naman. So that
Mhm.
was really cool great of them to he just okay if you want to do this and go for it, parang ganon. Yeah,
Good. Good.
yun yung ano.
I'm glad that your family was like that, because you know how it is in the arts and creativity. Most conservative families will say, "There's no money there. Hindi ka na makikita dyan eh." So
Mm.
why go through into that kind of industry wherein the rewards are not the kind of rewards that we want for you. Wherein you go in, clock in 9 to 5, and then every 15th and the 30th you get a regular paycheck, and at least you know that that's something that can be measured. But that's the thing about creativity and in the arts. It's hard to measure things that way.
Mhm.
And for us freelance people, we know how it feels like. But for people who have sort of gotten in it into their way of thinking that that's the only way to earn your keep, they're slowly realizing that much of the world these days is becoming freelance. And would you say that maybe perhaps it's because the older generation didn't exactly I don't know, look into the concept of freelance as opposed to the now generation who's more open to that?
Mhm. I can say that uh, definitely it was a different time, and that uh, as always, people are looking for security. They want the
Yeah.
sure thing naman.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the arts, the creative field for them is uncharted territory. And I can't blame
Mm-hmm.
them. Sometimes I imagine myself in their place, that my daughter or my son goes into the arts in a world that I don't understand, and that
Right.
I'm not sure if he or she's going to make it. But I think part of it is all about having faith in someone you love, that they can do
Mm-hmm.
it. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been there as well. Not all of the people, all of my relatives approved of what I was doing, and that
Okay.
I still had the occasional comment that walang pera dyan, anong ginagawa mo. The thing that hurt actually was they would tell me, "Ah, ginagawa mo sa kwarto mo, nakakulong ka buong araw," not knowing na there. So I think the older generation right now is slowly naman understanding what this freelance field, this creative field is contributing to society naman. So I think it was just a time of, again, uncharted territory. Pero
Yeah.
ngayon, ang dami ng kids of the new, even the younger ones naman, ang dami ng course sa colleges that offer fine arts, design,
Yeah.
creative fields na that are really contributing. Pero nandun pa rin syempre yung stigma. I think
Mm-hmm.
it will not disappear completely.
Mm-hmm.
Pero as long as that individual that wants to pursue this thing, able to, actually, to be honest, whenever they find out na you're earning much more than they expected in that creative field, no more questions asked. Sige, tuloy mo na.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like,
That's the real thing. Pag
yeah,
nalaman na nila
you're
na, "I
justified
have
because
nothing
you're
to worry
earning
about,
more
wala,
than.
sige, tuloy mo na yan."
Right, right, right.
So yun, yeah. Yun.
But on the flip side, it can also be a little bit cringy when they ask, "Oh, how much are you bringing in monthly?" And then, if in case it's not up to your standards or their standards, like, I only brought in this much. It's like, okay, maybe you should, change your career or whatever. But really, it boils out down into the end. Whatever drives you, whatever makes you happy, and for your peace of mind, for your sanity in these days, what we learned after the pandemic, just do it. Yeah. And prior to being a full-time creative, as you mentioned, you were in advertising, and we've always heard horror stories about how toxic, about how sucky and overwhelming it is to be in that industry. But you know what? Do enlighten us and turn the things around and turn the tables around, and tell us good things instead about it, and how being in a charged atmosphere like that helps harness and refine, or if not fine tune, your creativity.
Mhm. Yeah, there are, as much as there are horror stories in advertising and the toxic nature of the industry. It's toxic because there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of stakes with the clients. These clients are the big companies that need this campaign to sell
Mm-hmm.
their products, and that they're giving, again, as you've said, it's the creativity is something that you cannot quantify. They're, to be honest, they're risking their money, their business, something that they can't understand, but they know kasi they're aware naman of other creative outlets, commercials, launch campaigns, product launches, social media, viral posts. They know it works, pero
Yeah.
they're not really sure how it works, but they have faith in these agencies na, okay, going, if you do this, I'll pay you this much. Parang ganun. I have faith in you. Or ganun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the the rewarding thing, being in advertising, is seeing your idea come to life and that it works. No, so take for example, I want to share the story of how we did the Trece campaign.
Okay.
So our agency, my agency, that I worked for, Gigil, the Ideas Agency, we did the Netflix campaign for the Trece launch way back in 2020. Diba? So
Okay.
that was an exciting thing kasi it was.
Let me insert for our listeners and viewers who may not be familiar with what Trece is. Trece is a very popular Filipino comic, and it's urban fantasy, and it deals with a lot of Philippine folklore, and it centers around this character named Alexandra Trece, who is the defender of the city, and how she fights for balance among the mythical creatures who are giving her a hard time, and also the humans who likewise can also do that. Okay, just
Mhm.
a little
Okay.
brief insert for those who may or may not, for our international audiences who may or may not know what Tressa is. And it is on
Okay.
Netflix, so if you want to immerse yourself into that more, you can go watch it. Okay. And hi to
Yeah.
Bujet and to Kajo. Hello, you guys rock.
Yeah.
O-
So yeah,
Okay.
we did the launch campaign. A lot was at stake kasi it was the first Filipino animated series yata on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
It was
yes,
a
yes.
big IP for Netflix to share on their platform. So it really needed a big campaign for everyone to really see the world that Budge and Kaja created on the small screen in animated form. So us as part of the team that had to create a campaign, syempre kinakabahan kami. This was a big thing. Not a lot.
Yeah.
This opportunity doesn't
Okay, so we are back, and as you said, you were mentioning about the campaign that you guys did for Trece, and
Mhm.
and may I say that it was a great campaign with regards to building awareness for it. I mean, with the Trece posters all around the metro, and leading up to the actual debuting of the show on Netflix, people would see that the poster itself. One week it was okay, and then the next week it was slashed. Like people actually, so
Mhm.
it was great. But anyway, I just had to geek out,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but yeah, but do continue on the campaign of what you guys did for Trece.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we threw a lot of ideas to the client, to Netflix. Okay, this is how we're going to promote it. Some ideas they were keen on, some ideas they didn't, they really didn't like. But the
Hmm.
billboard idea, that's what they were excited for, and that we
Okay.
built the idea around that Trece is coming, and that the aswangs, her enemies, are not happy about it. That's where the idea came from. Okay, let's destroy her stuff because because the aswangs don't like it. She's coming, so let's destroy everything she has for Netflix. And seeing that idea go out to the world, throughout Manila, throughout even in Cebu and Davao, and it worked. That's the thing. That's everything about, as I was saying, advertising industry may be toxic, tiring, and it takes a lot out of you. But when the idea works, it's a
Hmm.
different feeling. Now, okay, actually, these people are talking about it on Reddit, on Facebook, on Twitter. Oh my God, it worked. This thing
Yeah,
works. Yun
it
yung,
paid off.
yeah, it paid off. So, um, going back to your question, na what is the positive thing about working in advertising? It's seeing that something that you or your team thought about, and to promote this product that everyone should buy, should read, should watch, should use
Hmm.
on their house, on their car. And if our metric is that if everyone talks about it without you asking them to talk about it, something that's organic, you see it in the comments, see it on your chat, ganyan.
Hmm.
That's the rewarding thing about advertising. So yun, I could say.
And,
Yeah.
right, right. Go. I like that. I like that metric. If people go out of their way to mention it, then you know that you've caught their attention, and it has made, at the very least, an indelible impression on them. Because that's the thing about when you reach that metric, you reach both. You reach people who know about what you're promoting, and people who are being introduced to it for the very first time.
Mhm.
And if you ideally, in an ideal world, if you capture both markets, then you are good to go. You have done your job
Mhm.
well. So kudos to you, and a big congrats. It's nice to finally meet someone who is directly involved in that campaign, because the campaign was great. It was awesome. It was rad, and it got people in the house, talking, who knew nothing about Trece. And I had to
Mhm.
tell them, "Oh, this is what I've been reading for the past how many years? You've seen me read this." No, no,
Mhm.
no. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, here's the graphic novel. Go read it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So
and mhm.
you know,
and to add to that,
and mhm.
pressure then, kasi I know Budge and Kajo are also from the advertising industry.
Yes, they are, and they still are there. They're still
And
doing that.
eh, and we had actually a meeting. We met them before, when they before the launch of the campaign, and
Hmm.
deep inside me, I knew I had to make it work. Kasi Budge is a executive creative director ata. Tapos Kajo is also a art director, and I know the kind of the work that needs to. They know the quality of work that needs to be. It's also personal for them because it's their work that's being promoted,
Yes.
and so ayun, it was an added layer of trying to prove na, hey, I know about Trece. I've been reading it ever since, and I want it to be successful. And yun, thankfully, it was. So yun.
It was. It was. And we're all waiting with bated breath for Netflix to go to green light
Mhm,
season 2. So
mhm.
I do hope that they do that. Or if there's another one who's more interested, then yeah,
Yeah.
let's go for that. So paging Amazon Prime, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, who
Yeah, who
knows?
knows? Who knows? I mean, I love what they did with Wheel of Time. I don't know if you're caught up with that show or that book series,
Mhm.
but season 2 they just blew it out of the water.
Oh,
And yeah, and if you haven't tried watching it, go watch it. You will be rewarded. That's all I'm saying.
okay.
Okay,
Yes, indeed.
if you haven't really got yourself immersed into that world or mythos. But from that world of, rewarding world of advertising, you dove into the world of running a business and being a creative at the same time. So I was wondering, what made you decide to leave advertising and pursue this new avenue for yourself? Because as we mentioned in the trio, you are also partners, or rather the co-founder of Manila Middle Ground.
All right. So I was already 3 years in Gigil in the advertising industry, and
Hmm.
then came Rexy Dorado, the writer of Maharlika.
Okay.
He wanted to collaborate in creating a comic book for his idea. He
Hmm.
just messaged me out of the blue. Actually, funnily enough, as a founder of Kumu, Kumu was also is also a client of Kigil, but I've never worked with
Okay.
him. Yeah, I've never worked, but I knew of him because I searched for him on LinkedIn. Oh, he's there. So then we got into talking, and he had this idea for his comic, and then um, fortunately enough, it was the work that was that it was the work that needed to be going into it was rewarding for me in that I've always wanted to create a comic book of my own
Hmm.
or collaborate with someone. And uh, it was also the thing about indie comics, because if you wanted to work on comics, you had to have a day job for it
Yeah, yeah.
if you want to do it. But this opportunity came in, and it was possible for me to do it full time.
Okay.
So I had to choose, Well, actually, I tried out working on Maharlika while working in Gigil, and that. Kaso the workload wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising already is a lot of workload. You have to work beyond your hours, and now I'm going to doing comics. So I tried that for a year and decided, okay, I want to do comics full time now because I
Okay.
can. And then, okay, I jumped ship na full time comics, and then came Manila Middle Ground, which is founded by two of my former workmates from Team Manila Graphic Design Studio. So one of them, Jet Torres, is actually a college classmate of mine. And then Val Tamayo was our HR way back when. And they messaged me if I wanted to partner up to open a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always wanted to open a business, to be honest. But I've never had an idea how
Okay.
or or the capital enough to open it. And I've always wished na I had partners or collaborators who were like-minded like me. And they just came through and messaged me, hey, you want to open up a retail store, a consignment shop for other creatives. And then
Mm-hmm.
nag-align na it's a creative business. We're
Mm-hmm.
in want to promote other creatives and their work as well in our store. And yun, so sabi ko, okay, I think everything is falling into place and I can do this while working on my comics.
Right.
So yun. This is it now, Manila Middle Ground in Makati. So yun.
Nice, nice. Well, we know that it's a retail. In a way, it's a retail store, but it's
Mhm.
also a creative space, and that's what Manila Middle Ground is. I was wondering, it's an interesting name. Who thought of the name?
Actually, Jet thought of the name Jet and Bal.
Okay.
We wanted a business name wherein we actually the idea just came from we are the middlemen between creatives and their potential customers or potential audience to share their work. So
Mm-hmm.
it's in Manila. So Manila Middle Ground.
Okay. All right. That works. That
uh,
works. I like it. And for those people who are wondering where it is, it's actually in Makati. It's in the Comuna building, and this is along Pio Campo in Barangay San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yeah. So yeah. So I'll also put the address fully
Yeah.
in the show notes so people can check it out. And it's also in Manila Middle Ground where I first met you and learned about your comic. Yay! Right?
Uh,
Yes. So it is called Future On. I don't know. Is it Future On or Future On?
Future on. Future
Future
on.
On. Okay. Future On double feature. So can you tell us how did you come up with the title?
Actually, the title is a bit of something I got from advertising, a pun
Hmm.
or portmanteau. Tama ba yun?
Portmanteau. Yes. Portmanteau. Yes.
Oh, it's a portmanteau of future and Turon. To be honest, Turon.
Turon is like Turon is
Yeah,
my favorite merienda. It's like banana fritters in a way, for
exactly.
people, but yeah, so if all we have left in the future is just Turon, I would be gladly, lapping that up and eating it
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. Kasi
every day.
every day, I've always been a fan of sci-fi. I love
Okay.
sci-fi. I was a kid. Back to the Future fan here. All time
Yay!
best movie for me. Back
Are
to the
you in
Future.
there, McFly? Are you in
Yeah,
there?
make like a tree and get out of here.
Yeah, big.
Diba?
Yeah, we always want to see Biff, get his rewards for
So,
doing what he does to Marty. But
yeah.
yeah, reading it, I saw that you also have other creatives who are part of the comic.
Mhm.
There is Zion de la Peña. There's Rafe Martinez, Ramirez,
Yes.
and a fellow Facebook friend, Timothy James Di Macali, who is, I know, a fellow Trekkie, and I believe he was a professor at one time. Although
Yes, I think. In,
it escapes me where he taught and what exactly did he teach. So,
Mhm.
but I know he was a professor
Mhm.
at one time. In the comic, you have two stories there, and if we are, let's say, confining it, if we're going to confine it to that milieu, they're more like promotional stories for this fictitious company that's called Akma
Mm-hmm.
Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And reading those two makes me feel like Akma Corp is somewhat akin to the Umbrella Corporation
Mm-hmm.
in the Evil Dead franchise. So, can you confirm or deny this?
Actually, it's closer to the Acme Corporation or
Oh,
Acme Products. Do you remember
yes,
that, Looney
yes,
Tunes?
I remember that Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner, that
Mm-hmm.
where they buy their stuff to kill, where the coyote buys his stuff to kill Roadrunner.
Yes. So that's the local knockoff or ripoff of that. We as Filipinos, you have a lot of knockoff products.
Oh yeah, right,
So,
right,
so that was my idea of okay, how do I make it local? Akma, Akma Corporation, something like that. And
something
that
like that. Yeah,
also, yeah, it came from advertising. So what if they create products that are a little bit weird, a little bit sci-fi, and I create a comic about that product? So
yeah,
yan, nagko-converge yung mga influences ko in career ko. Okay,
right, right.
let's make an ad.
That's what comes in, right? It definitely helps. There's also here it is. There's a there you go, Akma Corp, and there's this guy here that says Mang Bento approves.
Hmm.
So, are we just going to see Mang Bento as someone who looks like Alfred and says yes to everything that Akma does, or are we going to see him in future issues of the comic that he's going to be
Probably,
more
probably,
proactive?
yeah, probably. Actually, I based his look on if you remember the di lang pampamilya, pang sports
Oh
pa.
God, yes.
Guy, that guy there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one who it's Green Cross rubbing alcohol, is it?
Green Cross. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
there you go.
mascot of Acma Corporation. So we'll
Uh,
probably maybe I don't know. In
who
my
knows? Who knows?
yes, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, let me just give the readers a little insight on what some of the ones of the stories are. The first story that involves Akma Corp is about this guy who is bored out of his wits in what to watch on his next streaming service because he has watched everything. So lucky for him, he's able to forget what he has watched by putting on this sleeping patch that's called Eraser HD. There you go. Which I may add is brilliant and being marketed by this by this company. And and then also going to the second story, I can't help but feel that the company in a way is like preying on our addiction to technology and how we use it. Are these stories, I don't know, your way of reminding us, the readers, that if we allow ourselves to be immersed too much in technology, we may lose our sense of self and probably become too dependent on it?
Mhm. I think yes. These products were born out of watching too much Black Mirror. Okay, let's do Black Mirror in the Philippines. Actually,
Okay. Yeah, it works. It works. Yes.
diba? As Filipinos, we're very spiritual. The I think we're the most Catholic country in Asia, and that we believe in a lot of supernatural things. But we're
Hmm.
addicted to technology. We're a
Yeah.
we're under a capitalist country na everything that goes out new, the new iPhone 15, the new BMW, the new this and that. We're all excited. We want it.
Yeah.
And that it's a parang I don't know, it's a crossroads na we're so addicted as Filipinos to technology. And I thought, okay, let's do something absurd.
Yeah.
Na parang how do we it's not about reminding us that we're too much into it. It's a reminder that okay, what if we get too much into it? What happens then? So I thought, okay, even I have some. That's why I thought of the Eraser HD, or as I read it, Eraser Head.
There you
Eraser.
go. Erase
There
your
you go.
head. Yes.
Even
Yeah.
myself, I wish sana the great shows I watch on the movies, the shows that I like so much. I wish I could forget them and watch them again and feel that excitement again. What if sana may ganon? So that's why I thought, okay, let's do something that makes you forget. So pero doon pa lang medyo idealized pa eh. It's a idealized thing na sana it works. So hindi
Mhm.
ko pa pinapakita kung what if it doesn't work. What if you
Ah,
forget more than you asked for? So then,
okay. That
uh,
that would be a nice that would be a nice twist to it. I can't wait to see that in volume two.
yeah, maybe. Mala
Yeah,
Twilight Zone, di ba? Something na
exactly.
it works, but okay, something bad happens. Ganun.
Yeah.
Even yung Pinoy Pride app, it's a Pinoy
Mm-hmm.
Pride app. We have this
Which is the
thing
second
na,
story.
yeah, we have this thing internationally. Yung mga Pinoys are very, very proud whenever we're mentioned. Whenever someone is 1% Filipino in their blood, we all rise up and yeah, that's Filipino. Yeah, kababayan ko yan. So what if it becomes monetized? It becomes a thing na Filipinos can earn through. So it's kind of like something good for us, but something
Mm-hmm.
very very bad. Na imagine what if the next Filipino talent you have a stake in it. Na parang if she becomes very very famous at itataya mo yung pera mo, sikat siya, yayaman ka din. So,
Yeah.
hilangin pataas. Parang uh, a reverse crab mentality, pero very capitalistic. Something like that.
Yeah.
Kung naisip yung,
Uh,
ayun,
well,
those are my thoughts on technology.
I
Yep.
like it. I like it. I wonder how Akma feels about AI then.
That will be the next step.
That will be in the next volume for sure.
Oo, we'll
Yeah,
see.
they'll have their own, I don't know, their own version of Chat GPT, which will probably be called something else.
Mhm.
I don't know. But apart from this futuristic comic, you're also involved in another comic book series that's called Maharlika, which, alas, I was not able to get a copy of. But would you happen to have something there that you can show everybody?
Alas, I don't have a copy myself again. Right, I do have a poster of it. So this is
Okay. All
our
right.
sci-fi alternate history comic book, written by
Okay.
Rexy Dorado, art by me, and art assist by Sam,
Mm-hmm.
Sam Gungon. So
Okay. No AI here.
no AI, no AI.
Yeah.
Or
They're
maybe,
all.
maybe.
Yeah, we leave that to your imagination. But can you tell us more about that particular series?
Okay, in a nutshell, it's alternate history Philippines. We're in
Okay.
sometime in our revolution, in our quest for freedom, the timeline skewed in
Mm-hmm.
that we become part of an empire. We establish an empire called Maharlika, which involves a lot of Southeast Asian countries. So it's basically the EU, but we're in
Yeah.
Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So we establish an empire and we become the world power in this new timeline. But slowly but surely enough, something is breaking apart within
Mm-hmm.
something within the system of the empire.
Okay.
So comes in our detective Mal, si Paolo Malaya.
Okay.
He gets embroiled in a government conspiracy with his childhood friend Yari Ong, and become involved in the government under even I don't know my characters now see Jojo
That's
jo,
okay.
and Team Aguila. Team Aguila is like the presidential security
Okay.
corps. And so
All
there
right.
is something wrong with this timeline, parang ganon. You get
Mm.
yun.
How many issues are there already?
Uh,
Or
there we have 5 issues out. That's volume one, and it's now
mm-hmm.
available in print. We're working on volume two. Hopefully, we have we call them tracks. Actually, yung chapters are called tracks. Like it,
Okay.
like a volume kasi parang music, di ba? Kung
Yeah.
naalala mo. So we call it
Right. Right.
six is about to be released sometime here in this month, almost
Mm-hmm.
done. And volume two next year. Ganyan.
Next year.
Yeah.
For the tracks, do you release them individually, as in print as well as in digital, or they're more just print and then later on you decide to compile them in volumes?
They're released individually online
Okay.
through the penlab.inc, our
All
website,
right. All right. Pen Lab. Okay. Awesome.
penlab, and then we compile them naman for print. So yun. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So while I'm waiting for to get my hands on the print version of the first volume, I can just go to PenLab and
Mhm.
read them digitally there. Great, great, great.
All available.
Um, awesome. Everything is available there. Has there? I mean, it's nice to see PenLab being the one who champions Filipino comics online, but do you remember a time wherein there was still a debate with regards to Filipino comics? Like, which one is more, I don't know, which one brings in more legitimacy for you as a creative, digital or print? Has there ever been something is there something that you sort of like wrestled with at one time?
Actually, no, it hasn't even crossed my mind which was more legitimate, print
Mm-hmm.
or online. Kasi I grew up, yeah, growing up in Baguio. I didn't have either the money or the access to read comics.
Okay.
So all I had was the internet. And
Mm-hmm.
as you know, okay, I'm going to be honest. I read my Naruto, my One Piece, my Bleach through the internet. For And that was the thing. I mean, it was available if you knew where to look. And
Yeah.
then later on, when I had the money to buy naman, I brought the print versions. So it was not really a thing for me personally that if it's not in print, it's not legitimate. For me,
Mm-hmm.
as long as I have access to it, uh, eh, it's comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been for me. It's never been about having it. I mean, I would really want all the comics I've read to have it all in my library.
Yep.
But some of them we don't have access here. It's out of print. If it
Mm-hmm.
is if it's in print, it's not available in the local bookstore, ganyan.
You have to
So
order it and all that,
yeah.
and have
So
it shipped here.
yeah, it's never been uh neither online or print for me. As long as it's comics, it's cool for me. Ganyan.
All right, that's very refreshing to hear because sometimes I'd still come up with some people who feel that I'd still have rather I'd rather still have it in print. I guess maybe they're coming from a collector's viewpoint
Mhm.
that it would be nice to see everything up there lined on the shelves, and I can just take it down whenever I want.
Mhm.
And that would be great
Yeah.
if money and space were never an issue.
Mhm.
That would be wonderful. Would you happen to have like a specific time of day that's better for you to be creative? Some people work better at night. Some people work better in the morning. So how about you?
I work better at 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. or 12
Okay,
a.m. 12 a.m.
or 12 a.m. All right, okay. That's
Not
a
much.
long that's a
I'm not.
long working day.
So, yeah. I
Well,
hate. I don't hate the mornings. It's more like my brain is dead in the mornings. I need coffee.
yep.
I need silence. Me.
Yep, coffee is the opiate of every creative. Well, hopefully, every creative out there has that, or I don't know. I don't know if other creatives would prefer to have tea, but coffee is still the thing for me.
Yeah.
Any rituals that you do before you draw or before you write?
Mhm.
Be like some people light a candle, some people play music, some people take a walk first before coming down and doing their job. Anything like that for you?
I guess my ritual is getting up in the morning, feeding my cats, being a
Okay,
slave,
yes.
being a slave to the feline empire, and then actually, it's the next thing would be sketching or
Okay.
practice for me. I practice for an hour or so to get my hand going, to get my brain going. That okay, it's
Hmm.
going to be a creative day, and then a little bit of lunch, and then start the work. You know,
Legacy on.
I've learned. I remember way back when I was a little bit younger, in that I always thought that if I had the right tools, if I had the right mood, if I had the feeling, I would create great work. But growing up, in advertising, the work needs now. There's no specific mood. You have to work
Yeah.
to get out. Not naman na you have to be a slave. It's that you have to have your mindset na there's work needs to be done, and I've learned na you have to create habits. It's not about getting into the right mood. It's about creating the right habits to
Mm-hmm.
remind yourself to finish something today. Ayun. That's for
Right.
me. Yeah.
Right. I totally agree as well with that. And it's sort of like similar to what Stephen King says. If you're going to wait for the muse to come before you do anything, you're not going to accomplish much. But if you go and do whatever it is that needs to be done, the muse will eventually come along
Mhm.
for you. It's more of that. It's more of channeling the muse than waiting for it to come for you. And
Yeah.
you mentioned that you do a little bit of sketching. Let me just show that there is some initial concept art that you put also
Yeah.
on the comic, and this is for a different story that you create that you drew for. It's called Barriers.
Mhm.
I love it that you have, concept arts like these that you include in the comic. At least I know, as from a reader's perspective, you see the evolution of the concept and how it proceeds on from one version to another until you reach the final version. And what is next on the horizon for you, apart from the volume twos of the comics that you mentioned?
What's next? I mean, I want Maharlika to finish from start to finish. That's what I really want right now.
Okay,
Rexy has already written the whole story. It's really
nice.
just up to me to visualize his vision. Basically that. And I want it to be finished talaga. Um, that's next for me. Another thing would be this kernel of another sort of an idea for me, pero I'm not ready to share it yet. Pero I
Okay,
have
that's fine.
yeah, for my own story as well. I'm not a writer, but I want to tell a story. So I'm in that position na as I've said, I love to sketch, but I also love to learn. So I'm learning about writing somehow every day, how to write. And then also another thing, future on is something that I want to see another volume of, pero me collaborating with other writers or other artists as well. That I've always loved the anthology medium, tama ba yun? Or
Mm-hmm.
anthology format, in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you have one and done stories, these ideas about anything that you want, pero they're very satisfying to read. I've always liked that kasi I grew up reading speculative fiction. If you know that Philippine speculative fiction series of books, as well as I've never read an issue of 2000 AD, but I do know that there are a lot of good stories there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Stories kasi doon nagsimula sila Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, and usually they write one shot 4-page comic stories na sobrang ganda. Kahit 4 pages lang, very satisfying. And I've also there's something about anthology stories that I like. They're short, they're sweet, and they're done. Parang ganun. So that's what I want sana for future on.
Okay,
Future issues of future on. We're in.
future on. Well, we will envision that alongside you.
Yeah.
Future issues of future on. If they want to get a copy of the book of the comic as well as Maharlika, do they just drop by the store
Yes. Yes, please drop by in Manila Middle Ground. We'll have copies ready for you. For Marlica by January. Please
by
come by
January? All right,
Pero,
I will drop by in January or message you first. Pag meron
yes.
na, and I'll definitely be dropping by.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who want to know more about your work and how they can bug you on social media, where is the best place to find you?
So I'm on Facebook and Instagram. So I'm facebook.com/the genre. That's TheJohnray. And
Okay.
also Instagram at the genre. TheJohnray. So yeah,
All right.
that's
We will put that as well. Those specific handles on the show notes. I take it that you're not on X or on Threads yet.
I want to, pero there's just so much social media to get my hands on. I just want to concentrate on
Yeah, yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
Yeah.
There is. There's way too much. I mean, you can't. It's hard to be posting. I don't know. If you have an assistant, fine, go ahead. Yeah, let your assistant do that for you. But
If only I
uh,
had an
if
assistant.
you- well, there's an AI or virtual assistant, so we're back to that again. But anyway, we will be putting all of that into the show notes. That's for sure. That's a wrap for today. Thank you so much, John Ray, for joining us in this episode. We wish you the best in your future drawing, writing, sketching, and compiling endeavors. Thank you to Spine Books for your support since day one, and to our new friends over at Nerd Nibblers, of which you can follow them on Instagram as well. If you're creative and you would like to be featured in the podcast, you can email us at urbanfantasyph@gmail.com. If you want to get a copy of Feature On and Maharlika, of course, drop by Manila Middle Ground or message John Ray first to make sure that the copies are there before you go. Okay? Till the next episode, and we will see you guys in 2024. Have a great and memorable Christmas, and may 2024 be productive and inspiring for you as 2023 has been. Indie Creatives Unite, keep creating, and we will keep reading. Stay safe and stay creative. Namaste. Blessed be. Thank you, John.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Thank you.
That was another episode of Urban Fantasy PH. Join us next time as we feature another creative soul who wants their art to be seen, heard, and shared. If you have your own work to share, just email us at urbanfantasyph@gmail.com. Through the next episode, this is independent author, singer-songwriter, radio personality, voice actor, and fellow creative, CJ Edmunds, reminding you to always listen to your heart, create with your mind, and share with your soul. Goodbye, everybody. Namaste. Blessed be.